Hey there, Stephanie here. Remember, you might disagree with what I'm about to say, but these are my thoughts, though. And my thoughts are constantly evolving. My beliefs are constantly evolving. What I say today, I might disagree with tomorrow. It probably won't happen that fast, but I guess, I don't know, you never know. Just because I think so fast, there's always something in my brain and it's like zooming, and I don't know. Here's what I wanted to share today, though. I've been thinking about prayer for actually a long time, for like years. um, and I just keep thinking about it. And, I used to find so much solace. I don't even know how to say that word, if it's solace or solace, but one of those things. I used to find a lot of comfort in prayer. And I remember a lot of times I would just be on my knees and I would be weeping and I would be talking to God. And at that time, I believed it was just God the Father, not as I have come to believe that God is the title or a title for both God the Father and God the Mother, because that's the only thing that really makes sense to me. If there's a God, it has to be both. Like Carolyn Pearson said, if God is male, then male is God. And I mean, that is the world that we've been trying to live in for thousands of years, where men are gods, but I don't think that that's God's design, um, or model. So anyway, that's neither here nor there, really. I mean, whatever. But I did used to find so much comfort in prayer, and I don't begrudge myself that. I don't like judge myself for that. I don't judge anybody for that, because it's important to find comfort, and it's important to have guidance, and it's important to feel like you have a path, I think, and that you're where you're supposed to be. There's really, I don't know, it's very powerful to believe that you are where you're supposed to be. And so I know that prayer has can contribute, or does contribute to that feeling for a lot of us, and has for me in the past, and may in the future. Right now I'm kind of on a prayer hiatus, I guess, because it doesn't make sense to me. Like, prayer in general, the scriptures tell us to pray all the time, um, and I know the Book of Mormon says, like, everything, bring everything to God. That's not how it says it. I just, for whatever reason, can't remember right now, but it's in the Book of Alma, probably chapter 36 or 37. Um, like, just bring everything to Him. Like, think about God all the time. And I know it says in the Bible that prayer is important as well. And a common theme in religions is to pray for other people. And I think that is my biggest, it's not a hang up. I don't know what it is. It's just, it doesn't make sense to me, because, excuse me, I look at God as a parent. And for me to make sense of how God the Father fathers is to look at what I would think is the example of the greatest parent. Um, which, who am I? I don't know anything. I really don't know anything about anything. And so I'm probably wrong about everything, including this. But for me, the thing that helps me, I don't even know if that's the right word, but the thing that connects with me, or that I connect with most about prayer, is to see God as a parent, and as the example of a perfect parent. Therefore, if there is somebody, like, for example, a long time ago in the 90s, somebody in my ward, their 2-year-old son was found at the bottom of the pool. It was extremely sad, and I'm getting like a little bit weepy right now. Like, I might cry, but that's fine, um, because it's just extremely sad. And the ward was put on notice. I don't know if they did telephone trees back then, but somehow my mom found out, and we all found out, and we were all praying. All of us were praying for this little baby, that he would make it through. Just being, again, as a parent now, like, it's a nightmare. Um, and he did not. He did not. He ended up dying. And that didn't shake my faith, because I believed what we were told, that that was not God's will. And, now he's not suffering, and the family stayed faithful. I don't know for how long. Like, maybe they still are. I know they did for decades, at least, because I stayed at their house, somewhere. many years later, but maybe it wasn't decades. I don't know. It doesn't matter. Like that part doesn't really matter because it's not why I'm talking about it. But I don't remember. I probably did feel a little bit betrayed because we prayed so hard and the whole ward was praying for this baby boy to survive. And he didn't. And so, but sometimes the other story is true. You know, the ward will be put on notice and we will all be praying and the person will make it. The person will be okay. And it's just, I mean, I know that these concerns that I'm about to share are not unique and they're not new. And they are shared among many. And I know the answers to them as well. I know the platitudes that are given in response. But why would God play like that with prayer and with lives? And I know, you know what though? I do remember feeling like, well, what if I had just had a little bit more faith? Like, what if it's my lack of faith that caused that baby to die? I do remember thinking that. Like, what if I didn't pray hard enough? And that's where I'm like, what kind of a God? Like, there's no way that I, as a parent, would look at my children and see that one of them was suffering, and all of my other children were begging me to help this child that is suffering, and me saying, nah, because one of the siblings didn't ask me hard enough. Whatever the heck that means, you know? But if that sibling had exercised more faith in my power to save the suffering sibling, I would have stepped in. That is nonsense as a parent. Absolute nonsense. And that is not how a God that I can believe in and support and trust and speak to would treat us. So that is a problem that I have with prayer right now. Not that, I mean, sometimes we as parents do let our children suffer, and we have to let them suffer in order to grow. So I can absolutely see that end of it as well. But if my reason is, like I was taught to believe, that sometimes my prayers aren't answered because I don't have faith enough. If my reason as a good, just, kind, loving parent for letting a child suffer is because another sibling did not have faith in me as the parent, that's garbage. And so that is a reason that I cannot accept of a God that I worship. And then there's the story of Alma the Younger in the Book of Mormon, where, and this is something that kept me praying for other people for a long time, because, well, there's this one story, you know, that Alma Sr. is praying for his son who is going around and talking bad about the church, and bringing souls away from church. And Alma Sr. is praying for him, and an angel goes to speak to Alma the Younger. Wow. And he gets to see an angel because Alma Sr. prayed, and the angel tells Alma the Younger that it is because of the faith of your father that I'm here. And so that is something that I would cling to and believe. But now I don't know, like, how is that? It's so confusing to me, because that is not an example of a perfect parent to me. Like, I mean, putting it in perspective, in the perspective that I like to think of God as. And again, I'm completely willing for this perspective to just be completely wrong. But if I, as a parent, have a child who's also a parent, and that child is asking me to help and intervene with their child, then I do it. You know? That's funny, because, okay, no, I can see this. Like, this is not where I thought I would go with this, but it's not the interpretation that I had gone with last time I thought this through. So no, I would totally do that as a parent. But would I? Okay, so here's the question though: would I wait if I had the power? Well, you know, I would wait, because the child is not mine, so I would wait to intervene, unless it was something that needed was, immediate, like urgent, and needed my specific skills or whatever, urgently. But yeah, so that's something to think about. I'm going to think about that more before I make a judgment or interpretation about that again. But so yeah, welcome to my thoughts as I continuously evolve. Oh shoot, what was the other point? I have like points that I wanted to say written down on my notes app, but if I open it up, then the camera app stops working, so I can't bring it up. But what I've actually come to conclude is that praying for others is not for others. So if I am going to pray for someone to live through this disease, or to survive an injury, or to come out of addiction or depression or whatever, then I think that to have faith that God will heal that other person, I don't know, it's possibly, I don't know, it just doesn't seem like the right thing to do. Because what I think is the right thing to do, and I think that we probably should, in a way, pray for others, but I don't think it should be for that other person to come out of whatever they're suffering. I think the better way to pray would be to ask God to help me to know what I should do to help this other, child of God, to lessen their suffering or to ease their burden. Because I just don't think that if I pray hard enough, then they'll survive is the right path or the right method or whatever, because I don't think it's real. Because if God has power to save, and he does, right? If the God that we all pretty much agree on is all powerful, then he does have power to save. And he will. If he's gonna, he will, whether or not I ask for that. That's the thing, I think. There's no way that he is waiting for me to step in with a prayer, with a request for somebody else over there, in order to go and save them. That doesn't make any sense whatsoever to me at all. But I do believe that a God that I would support, worship, and follow, obey, probably, is a God who would say, I am so glad that you are thinking about the suffering of this child of mine. And I want you, and here's something you can do, or maybe give me an idea or whatever of how I can ease that suffering. But for me to actually believe that my petition to God can intervene in someone else's life so powerfully as to save them from something, I don't think that's humble, and I don't think it's right, and I don't think it's real, and I don't think that is how a good father, a good mother would want me to pray to them for. Sorry about that preposition there. I put it in the wrong spot, but we're not fixing it anymore. It's too late. But I do think that saying, here is someone in my life who is suffering. How can I help them? And then just being open to whatever might come. Because, I don't think it's bad to believe that God can and will intervene with something so important as life itself. I do think that is incorrect to believe that my petition will be the one thing that can save them. And I don't think that's the purpose of prayer. Again, this is evolving, and I don't know what it is that I really believe about prayer, but I'll figure it out.